What's up, everybody? Shiv here. Alright, well, as the splash screen told you, we're doing a deck review, and we're going to be reviewing another Sigma deck, the Max Impact variant deck. And I call it a variant deck is because I had to replace one of the core cards in the design, which was Gromach the Impaler. Don't have it. Nor do I feel like spending the dust that I do have to make it, just because I'm waiting for the next expansion, and that seems a little bit more relevant to me right now. True fact. But this variant, which I'm going to say is pretty much 97% the exact same deck, is fucking amazing. It really is fucking amazing. And interestingly enough, the variant wasn't even listed as a replacement on his replacement guide, but we're going to get to that anyway. Alright, so first off, let's give some credit where credit is due. Who is Sigma? Well, Sigma is a European player who's been making some really good decks, some really fun decks that kind of fly in some conventional deck building wisdoms and literally say, yeah, that's cool, but you don't really need that. And by doing so, he's streamlined some really popular decks to being a little bit more effective and a lot more fun, at least in my opinion. Most notably, the Sigma No Antonitis Tempo Mage. And I'm still playing this deck. Anybody who comes watching me streams, you'll see me, like, this is my go-to deck just to enjoy myself. Yes, it's kind of coin flippy. Yes, it's got some very awkward moments. But my god, does it have some amazing Trollden level value. Holy shit. I've had people add me immediately afterwards and say, you got lucky, you fucking scrub. You're this, you're that. I took this all the way to Innkeeper 1. Innkeeper 1. I probably could have pressed it. I had the time, but a lot of things came up at towards the end of the month as well as the middle of the month where I just really couldn't invest as much time in Hearthstone as I actually wanted to. Yeah, real life happens, guys. But the deck definitely was legend viable, and it did a tremendous job, even against all the secret paladins and the damn druids and the zoos and Reno everywhere. It handled itself pretty decently. The only thing that really gave it a problem was, Patron, but we already know why that's a problem. But yeah, so after playing this deck and seeing some of the other decks he's done, and I've played those as well, I've grown to have some great respect for this man as a deck builder. Though his pandering to upvotes, you're better than that guy. But that notwithstanding, let's get to talking about this amazing fucking deck. And I'm going to state right now, this is an amazing fucking deck. It does have one horrifically weak matchup, which we'll cover towards the end of this video. Alright. But other than that, I found it pretty good against almost everything. Alright. So the deck works on a very simple principle. Get shit tons of little minions out there, zerg the shit out of your opponent, and eventually go for a nice little combo that'll break his face in half. This is really good for dealing with certain archetypes. Basically anything with Reno. You can kind of hover them at a certain distance, then once you draw one specific card, enhance a Mechano, as well as having anything with the power of Overwhelming, you could burst them the fuck down. It's actually pretty simple to do, and pretty simple to see at least 2 to 3 steps ahead, as long as you've got a good sized hand. And I've been beating Reno decks with this like it's going out of style, and actually I've been getting a little bit of hate for it too. So thank you, Sigma. But let's cover what the cards are actually in here. So you got the Power of Overwhelmings. These are part of almost a finisher combo. You can use them a little bit because you can kind of fall back on Dark Peddler to pull you an answer, but don't be too nilly-willy with them, alright? Don't just like throw them away for like stupid shit. Alright? You gotta really think ahead when it comes to those. Abusive Sergeants are probably going to be the ideal cards you're going to want to use in order to take care of something like, say a piloted Shredder or something of that nature. You've got your Argent Squires in here because it's a sticky fucking minion, and let me tell you, there's nothing a fucking druid hates worse. Right? You go turn 1, you play Argent Squire, it goes to his turn 2, and he tries to go innervate out a piloted Shredder, only to have it die to the Abusive Sergeant the next turn. Yeah, that really pisses them the fuck off. And I've won many games because of that. So yes, it's a definitely really good card. It'll allow you to basically set the tempo, set your board state, and manage the hell out of it and deny your opponents any chance of building their board effectively. Voidwalker, again, denial, and it gives you a little bit of protection, which I really, really like. Dark Peddler, so many great cards you can get out of this, and I'm going to cover the 3 that I feel are probably the best ones out of there. Mind you, these aren't the only 3, but you'll find some situations where some of those other options might be a little better, but bear with me. These are the 3 that I found statistically are the best. Power Overwhelming, Soulfire, and Reliquary Seeker. Now, there have been times where I've grabbed a Voidwalker. There's been one time I grabbed a Goldshatter Footman, which you'll see here, and that actually saved my ass. And there's been a couple times I've grabbed the Blood Imp just to, give my board a little bit more survivability so I can actually get to the combination and go for the kill. But it all depends on the board state and how you're looking to win the game on what you're going to choose. In a pinch, though, I have been known to pull the Corruption just to get rid of something nasty. Alright. Moving on. You got a Direwolf Alpha. It works. I mean, look at all the little token spawn minions you're going to get. By the way, placement of this is going to be really, really important. Alright guys, really, really important. I found probably one of the best places to put this is right next to your Imp Gang boss. That way, you're always going to be getting a little bit of a boost here or there. And there have been times, because of Dark Peddler, I'll actually ping my Imp Gang boss with the Mortal Coil just to get another little token minion out there. Mind you, this was a very extreme circumstance, and it ended up allowing me to get out my Sea Giant really cheap, and yeah. But it worked. It worked great. So, yeah. But yeah, Direwolf Alpha is definitely going to be a really good card in this deck. And not to mention, it works great with the Nerubian Egg, which we all know why that card's fucking amazing. Haunted Creeper, hey, we're running Knife Jugglers, and this deck's all about building board. And nothing builds boards better than a Haunted Creeper. Well, maybe an Echoing Ooze. Maybe. Alright. Ironbeak Owl, because fuck you, taunts. Knife Juggler, pretty obvious. We've got such a high amount of low mana cards. It only makes sense to have them in here. Alright, Nerubian Egg. This guy basically pulls a double duty. He is anti-AoE, which is pretty much the bane of this deck, I'm not gonna lie. Alright, so yes, Priests will kick your ass, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But for other classes, they're less likely to mess around with AoE against you if you have this out here. Oh yeah, you'll kill like these 3/1/1s, but then you're also going to have a 4/4 to deal with. So you trade 3 for 4? Doesn't really add up too well. Alright, Bronzebeard. We've got a lot of Battlecry minions that are really going to benefit off this. Abusive Sergeants, Defenders of Argus, and Dark Peddler, and Enhancer Meccano, which I have gotten the opportunity of doing a double Enhancer, which is so cool. It's like, oh, hey, look, everybody had Wind Fury. Yeah, there's nothing like really pissing off your opponent than doing that. It's really nasty. It's like everything had Wind Fury and Divine Shield. It's like, oh yeah, you ain't killing this board. So, good times. Imp Gang Boss, Board Builder, Implosion, Removal, and Board Builder, Defender of Argus. This is a support card that basically gives your board a little bit more longevity, as well as possibly pushing for a little bit more lethal. When combined with Bronzebeard, you can build a really nasty defensive wall that a lot of classes are going to have a hard time getting through. Personally, I love this card. I really do. And this is one of the substitution cards I put in there, because to me, it made a lot more sense than the Gromak did in the current meta, and the fact that I don't have Gormok. So, I keep changing where that R is supposed to be. Forgive me. Alright. And Enhancer Meccano. This is probably one of your key combination pieces that you're going to need to beat certain decks. Most notably, anything with Reno Jackson in it. I'm not even kidding when I say that. Reno Jackson has become kind of like it puts that whole mindset of how you beat Handlock with an aggro deck back in the day. It used to be the way you beat handlock was you kind of hovered them at a certain point, and then you bursted them down with a hail of combos, charge minions, and spells and things of that nature. Well, with this deck, you can do very similar, and then lay down the Enhancer, throw down some Power Overwhelmings on the Wind Fury cards or minions, and just go to town and beat them that way. Same base principle applies. So, yeah, if you know the deck's got Reno Jackson, you know how to beat it. Alright. Next up, we got Leroy Jenkins. This is also another win combination. If you get to turn 9 and you actually could go Leroy and Enhance Meccano, you get some really fun stuff there. If you get the Wind Fury, boom, that's 12 damage. If you get Divine Shield, congratulations. Your built-in Suicide Gene no longer kills you. But let's be honest, 2 damage isn't really that all difficult to do. So, but good times. Alright, Loatheb. This is pretty much to lock your opponent's ability of recovery and stopping what you're going to do next turn. I've had this win me a few games against mages, specifically Freeze Mage. Oh my god, did this win me against Freeze Mage. And last but definitely not least is the Sea Giants. Yeah, you know, with a deck that's got a huge amount of low drop creatures and stuff that spawns out more creatures, Sea Giant makes so much damn sense. The only thing that it would make even more sense is if you somehow got totems or were able to summon your own Silverhand recruits. But getting rid of the life tap, probably not in your best interest. So yeah, so that is the deck. It's super fucking cool. I'm not even gonna lie. And you know what? Let's go take a look at it in action.
Gul'dan versus Gul'dan.
Your soul shall be mine. I am your nightmare.
What's that on your head?
Buying or selling. Why do you call?
Hey, catch! Do I have to?
Buying or selling. Ready for action! As you command. Job done.
Very interesting tech there. Very interesting tech. Right, okay. Alright.
Engaging TC-130 mental dislocator.
That's fine. Ooh.
Buying or selling.
Very nice. Okay, so Alright, he's got to have... Oof, we can almost win the... Actually, we can win this with a good play off of Enhancer Meccano. But he could have a Hellfire right now, which would bring him down to 15. I'd have to get Wind Fury.
I wonder.
He could just go for the Siphon Soul right now, which would not be a bad play. Alright. Good play, good play. Okay.
The light protects me.
Expedition commencing.
Only one. Got it. Well, that's fine. And there you go. That's a fun deck. Alright, so as you saw, the deck is pretty damn powerful. That definitely was a Reno lock, which generally aggro decks could sometimes peter out and stall at. But because of the way this deck works, if you can get to your combination, you can handle it all day long. So yeah, it's a really fun deck. Now, let's talk about what actually causes it a great amount of stress. Alright. Patron decks are definitely going to be probably one of your biggest banes. Priest is also going to be another really big bane, because priests have so much AoE available to them. I mean, anything involving Wild Pyromancer, Auchenai Soul Priest plus Circle, Light Bomb, Holy Nova. So, I mean, they've got a plethora of ways of really screwing with your plan. And it's arguably one of the worst matchups you can get, especially that newer variant, which is all about, you know, delay, fatigue, and getting out of lease, which, you know, truth be told, that's like an 80-20 matchup, not in your favor. So just to give you a little heads up, most likely you're going to lose that match, and you're most likely going to lose any match involving patrons. Just because that's the way it works. You're not going to be great against everything. But against Tempo Mage, you have pretty good odds. Against Druid, you have pretty good odds. Against anything with Reno Jackson, you've got some amazing odds. Alright, so definitely this is a fun deck. Rogue's also going to be slightly problematic because of Fan of Knives and because of Blade Fury, and the fact you're going to be tapping to get down there and you have no way of recovering your life overly effective. So yeah, that is definitely going to be an issue there, but at that point you have to always play your game and push for every bit you possibly can. It's not an impossible matchup, but it's definitely going to be one where trying to go for the long game is not in your best interest. So yeah, that is the deck. Down below in the description will be the link to the deck guide. Be sure to go over there, tell Sigma, hey, this is an awesome deck, I really like it. And show him some love, give him an upvote and all that other stuff. But if you like these videos, please like, subscribe, leave me some commentary down below. Let me know what you thought of this video. Let me know what you think of this deck. Have you tried it out? Did you like it? Where did you find it lacking? Where did you find it was good? Tell me your best game with this deck. I'm really interested to know, because I've already had some amazing plays with this deck. Anyway, this is Shiv saying thank you for watching, stay safe, have fun, and may RNGesus bless you. Peace out.